Once spring arrived, everyone got ready for prom. I wanted a girlfriend really bad, but I didn't think I was going to find one anytime soon, so I didn't plan on going to prom. One day my dad told me I should find a date for prom, and he got on me about it. I never seen my dad push me in regard to romantic life before, and I kind of liked it. After school, he started actually asking me if I found a date daily after school. I would say no, and he would say, "Hey, go find one." Suddenly I met this one girl I knew from 8th grade named Tara. And I actually, in fact, had a crush on her in 8th grade. I never seen her since 8th grade until now. She would sit during lunch sometimes. I used to hang out with some gothic girls during lunch, and I used to enjoy hanging out with them. And I kind of liked being gothic for a while, so I tried to hang out with them, but they never really connected to me as friends that much though. But nonetheless, I met Tara there. And that was kind of an unexpected irony. I didn't think she was as good looking as she was in 8th grade, but she still was somewhat. We started talking a lot and I felt comfortable around her. I decided to ask her out to prom and she said yes. I was so excited. We started hanging out a lot. I was proud of myself because when I asked her out to prom, I felt like I made a huge step, and I was really nervous to do that, but when I did, I felt very proud of myself. After that, we started hanging out a lot more, and as if something more was about to happen. It was interesting. I figured something more was, and I was starting to hope too. I really wanted to ask her to be my boyfriend. I did like her. I could tell that she did like me too on top of it. I didn't want to mess up the chance, so I was really careful. It was kind of stressful because I knew that she did like me and I didn't want to mess up the chance. I called her on the phone. Suddenly one time I called her on the phone, I said, "Do you want to be my girlfriend?" I planned it. I planned the lines literally for 2 days in advance. She said yes, and I was so overjoyed, but I didn't make it obvious. I tried not to because I didn't want to sound like I was going to be clingy already. So I knew I wanted to be careful. This was good. The rest of the school year was beautiful. Flowers, it was springtime on top of it. Flowers started popping off the bare-looking tree branches, and everything started smelling more beautiful than before. Even though I felt like she wasn't the best-looking girl, her personality was really amazing and definitely made up for it. I felt she had a sweet personality, and it was like the spring weather. She didn't remind me of Lorena or the winter like Jenny. She wanted to hang out with me, and on top of that, she wanted to hang out with me a lot, and we hung out with every day after school, and I loved that. It was like extra points scoring on my liking. She even hugged and kissed me a lot. We used to leave the school every day, sneak through the backyard. Her house lived right by the school, and we suddenly would be inside her house. Her parents were never home. She often told me she wasn't happy and had trouble getting along with her family. I didn't care though, she was still really amazing. Sometimes, when I said I didn't care though, I mean like drama-wise. Sometimes she would call me crying, and she would tell me she wanted to kill herself. I often listened and tried to make her feel better, and she always would. It was a little tough to do that because sometimes I wasn't really sure what to say, but I always ended up making her feel better, and that made me feel great. Hearing her tears go away on the phone made me feel like I was doing a good spiritual service deed. My parents didn't think I should be... My parents met her, and they thought I shouldn't be her boyfriend, but I didn't listen to them. I really liked her a lot and thought she had admiring qualities. One time I was over her house, and and my parents left, and we started making out on the couch, and we really made out really fiercely too, and I loved it. It was really awesome. I felt really amazing to have a girlfriend, especially at this time in my life too, the end of my senior year. And I really thought she was an amazing one to have as a girlfriend too. I felt like the end of my grade school was a living fairy tale. One day she told me she wanted to have sex. I was excited to hear that. I really wanted to not be a virgin. She when she told me that, I wanted to have sex with her so bad that I didn't even know what to say. So I decided to wait till prom. I didn't want to mess it up and say and say something that might make me look bad and mess up an opportunity that was meant to be. The day of prom was a huge deal, and I knew she definitely would say yes when the opportunity came after prom. If prom was going to be a huge deal. At the day of the prom, the night before prom, I stayed up all night. I wanted this next day to be really big because I knew having sex with her was going to be as big as it was. I rode my bike around 2 a.m. in the morning for many miles to make like a adventure out of it and start this whole amazing day with this amazing venture. I listened to my Y-Box too and blasted my music through my headphones from my cassette player that I built. I heard a really awesome song. I didn't know who it was by, but I turned up the volume. It was beneath some power lines. Hold on. Shoot, I lost my spot. Alright, I'm gonna try to find my spot here. Okay, where is it? Oh yeah, I looked up at the wires and saw beautiful clouds glowing from the streetlights everywhere. The air smelled beautiful, and I knew this day was gonna be amazing already. It was like a movie. It was like a suspenseful movie where I knew things were gonna get awesome later. Once the sun broke up from behind the horizon, my dad gave me a surprise. It's a big surprise I've been waiting all my life for. This gift was so awesome, it was larger than me. I opened the door on it and went inside of it. I was so happy to see myself with my license inside my own car. I thought about all the times I wish I had a car. Not only do I have my own car, but I was probably going to lose my virginity in it as well. I picked up Tara from her house. She hopped into my new car, which excited me. I felt like such a man. We drove to the prom alone. I felt like I was grown up in so many ways compared to all these years before. It was such an intense feeling. I was kind of nervous though because I didn't want to mess up this chance of having sex that night. What if I farted really bad? What if there was our other what ifs? I decided not to put my attention on that. The dance was amazing. We danced through every song. We had no time for little stuff like the little people who sat on the tables on the sidelines. I felt like a normal, cool person for that moment, and it was spectacular. I felt like a special part of the whole, and the whole was the prom, and I felt like a puzzle piece that contributed to the whole. It was like that dream I saw when I had with this little kid driving those cars on the highway. It was like that, but even better. I watched a fountain of water spray from outside during the last song. It lit up with lights. It was so romantic, and I knew this was only the beginning. After the dance, me and Tara went into the car. I headed to find a place romantic. I decided to go to Belle Isle Park. Took the honors to. I I decided to go to Belle Isle Park. That was where I used to row. Belle Isle was an island in Detroit where I had my rowing practices at. We parked at a beautiful spot that faced the river. I could see the lights from the place that we had the prom. It was across the river. There was also a huge power plant next to it. There weren't very many power lines connected to it, but I didn't care. Tara pushed a button in my new car and the radio turned on. A really cool song started playing. Tara pulled a lever and the front seat flew down. She planted her face into mine and we started making out. I rubbed my tongue around her and a cool remix version of New Yin Yang Twins song played. The moment started to get hot. We continued to make out for another 10 minutes. Suddenly Tara said, "Wow, James, you're so hot. You know what? I'm about to take you down right now." I then knew this was the moment I knew this was now the moment. It was the moment to finally ask her the question. I said, "I have a condom." She jumped out of her seat. It looked as if something startled her. "What?" she said. I was starting to feel nervous. Uh-oh, did I fuck this up? I don't know. I stood still and wasn't sure what to say. I started to feel embarrassed. She then started laughing and said, "Oh, so no wonder why you didn't want to hang out with those other people and eat at Big Boys." I thought to my head, "Yup, exactly. Those were the gothic girls that really were really close friends with me anyway." She then told me that she didn't want to have sex, but she wasn't sure if she wanted to yet. I said, "It's okay. Whenever you're ready." She then clutched the condom from inside my pocket and took it out. She opened it and unrolled it down. We both stared at it with eyes that were more open than normal. We started commenting on how odd it looked. She said, "Oh man, I would hate to have this thing inside me." And I agreed with her. I thought it looked like something from another planet. We left Belle Isle and decided to do something spontaneous and fun. We crossed the US border and went to Canada. I always loved going to Canada. There was always some awesome things to do in Canada. The stores were unusual, the clubs stayed open late, and you could drink when you're 18. And the power lines looked the best. We had a lot of fun and got really hyper. We drove around and just admired the scenery. I really started to adore her. We headed home around 4 a.m. On the way home, she fell fast asleep. I looked at her like she was a precious gem. I thought about how spectacular this day was. I thought about how amazing it was to feel so grown up now with a car, about to graduate from high school with a girlfriend like her that loves me. Tara called me later that day. I answered the phone.